Japan's summers are brutally hot and humid, but most homes don't have central AC, and some rooms don't even have any room AC at all. So why doesn't Japan have a central AC like other countries? Right, so I'm now back at my parents' house, and as you can see, this room doesn't have air conditioning. Today will be 32 degrees now and will be 34 degrees, which isn't extremely hot, but combined with the high humidity, well, it's very uncomfortable at the moment, honestly. But through researching, what surprised me most was the traditional ways Japanese people deal with heat actually tell us a lot about why central AC never became common here in Japan. Let's see how we Japanese have dealt with the summer heat. One traditional way Japanese people keep their homes cool is by using sudare or yoshizu. Sudare are bamboo prints hung outside windows or doors to block direct sunlight while still letting air flow through. Yoshizu are large bamboo screens placed upright in front of windows or verandas to create shade and prevent heat from entering the house. Both have been used for centuries to keep homes cooler during Japan's hot and humid summers. Another traditional way is uchimizu, sprinkling water on the ground. As the water evaporates, it absorbs heat, making the area feel cooler. Well, this simple method has been used since ancient times, especially in the evenings, when it's more effective. Well, these heat countermeasures might seem very primitive compared to modern air conditioning, but despite being old-fashioned and not practically efficient, they are still used in many Japanese houses today. And just like right behind me. In fact, there is sudare outside this room, but the room itself is actually hot, as I told you. Why are such traditional methods still used when we have AC today? Well, the answer lies in energy saving. Well, surveys show that over 90% of Japanese people consciously try to save energy in their daily lives. But for Japanese people, saving energy is not just about cost, it's an important value in their lives. So that is why these traditional methods are still valued today. They are, simple, cheap, and most importantly, they don't require electricity. So in terms of energy saving, they are still very effective. Well, this mindset also explains why central AC never became common in Japan. Well, of course, there is always debate over whether installing central AC or using individual room air conditioners is more cost-effective. But for Japanese people, what matters most is that the cooling rooms they aren't even using feel like a waste. Well, Japan has a word for this, もったいない. Well, it means what a waste. It's an expression that shows just how much Japanese people dislike unnecessary waste. Well, sure, like central AC systems let you control airflow to some extent, but for most Japanese people, the idea of cooling empty hallway just doesn't make sense. This mindset shows just how deeply the idea of cooling the entire house doesn't really fit into Japanese values. And that may be one of the reasons why central AC never became common in Japan. Well, this traditional cooling method also tells us something else. Well, Japan's summers have always been brutally hot for a long time, not just recently. Well, as a result, Japanese houses have historically been built with summer comfort prioritized over winter warmth. And this is also a big reason why central AC hasn't become widely common in Japan. So let's take a look at some traditional Japanese architectural features in this room designed to beat the heat. First, shoji and fusuma. These are sliding paper doors and partitions used to divide rooms. Because they aren't fixed walls, they can easily open or remove to improve airflow and keep the house cool during the summer. Next, ranma. Ranma are decorative openings located above sliding doors between rooms. They allow air and light to pass through, creating ventilation even when doors are closed. Then there is the raised floor structure. By building the floor above ground level, it prevents heat and moisture from ground from entering the house and allows air to flow underneath, cooling the interior. Well, because of all these features, traditional Japanese houses have always been designed with good ventilation as a priority. But of course, it also means they lack air tightness. And houses with low air tightness are not ideal for modern air conditioning systems. Well, needless to say, central AC would be so much of waste. The cold air easily escapes, making it hard to efficiently cool the entire house. But in other words, traditional Japanese house design simply isn't suited to whole house cooling systems like central AC. In fact, I once asked my father why we didn't install room air conditioning in some of the rooms, for example right here. But he told me that he had considered it before, but the constructor said that even if they install it, the rooms wouldn't cool down much, due to poor air tightness. As this shows, traditional Japanese house design is another reason why it never became common here. But beyond the design itself, there is something else about Japanese houses that makes central AC unnecessary, and that is the layout. In America, where central AC is common, it's usual to have an open floor plan with the living room, dining area, and the kitchen all in one large space. Cooling such a large area is easier and makes central AC practical. But Japanese houses are different. Rooms are often divided into smaller, separate spaces with sliding door or partition that I explained. This allows for privacy and flexibility, but it also means that installing central AC is less practical. But additionally, Japanese houses are generally smaller than American houses. While the average Japanese home is around 90 to 100 square meters, which is about 1,000 square feet. But American homes often exceed 1,600 square feet. But because of this, installing room air conditioning unit in each room is more practical and cost-effective. So the layout and the size of Japanese homes are another reason why central AC never took hold here. But anyway, if you are interested in why Japanese houses are so small, I explain it in this video, so please check it out later. So yes, culture and design play a big part. But is that the only reason central AC isn't common in Japan? Well, there is another factor that's hard to ignore. Cost. In fact, it's said that the average cost of installing a central AC system in the United States is about $4,500 to $11,000 US. Well, I looked up this figure on the internet. If there are any Americans watching this video right now who are knowledgeable about this price, please let me know. On the other hand, if you try to install central AC system in Japan, it will cost about $6,700 US to $20,000 US. One of the main reasons is that the Japanese homes are not designed for central AC in the first place, as I explained, so installation costs are high. In addition, there is little demand for central AC systems in Japan, so construction companies have little experience in installing them, and as a result, costs don't decrease. The average price of room air conditioner is about $270 to $1,700 per unit. But of course, multiple room air conditioners are installed, but the average number of units per home in Japan is about 3. For these reasons, I think central AC systems are not often chosen in Japan. So we've looked at the reasons related to energy saving, design, house layout, and the cost. But as I dug deeper in this topic, I realized there is another side to the story, a side that goes beyond practicality or economics. It's something rooted in the Japanese way of life itself. It's the fact that Japanese people have a culture of enjoying the very feeling of summer itself. Take furin, for example. This is a small wind chime hung from the eaves of houses. But of course, they don't actually lower the temperature at all. But just hearing their cool, twinkling sound makes Japanese people feel, it's summer. And somehow it feels refreshing. But you will often see furin in summer scenes in anime and manga. It's something deeply rooted in Japanese culture. And it's probably a feeling that only Japanese people can truly understand. Well, now does this directly relate to why central AC hasn't become common in Japan? Well, probably not. After all, having a cool house is always more comfortable, and most Japanese homes do have room air conditioners installed. But rather than cooling the entire house, Japanese people often prefer to cool only the rooms they use while enjoying the sound of cooling and the natural breeze in other part of the house. And I think this cultural value seeing summer heat not only as something to endure, but as a part of the season to enjoy has, but in invisible ways influenced how Japanese people live and choose their homes. So far, Japan has lived without central AC. But as the climate changes and housing style evolve too, we may be on the verge of change. For example, in Tokyo, the average summer temperature has already risen by about 2 to 3 degrees Celsius over the past century, and every year the number of extremely hot days above 35 degrees continues to increase. At the same time, more and more Japanese homes are being built in a Western style, with better insulation and air tightness to improve energy efficiency. Modern apartments and houses often have sealed windows and strong insulation features that make installing central AC far more practical than in traditional homes. With these changes, it's possible that central AC will become more common in Japan in the future. But even then, I wonder if Japanese people will still find ways to enjoy the feeling of summer itself. The sound of cooling in breeze, the cool touch of sudare, and the quiet beauty of enduring the heat, just as our ancestors did. So what do you think about Japan's way of dealing with the summer heat? Well, I'm curious, does your country also have this kind of idea of viewing summer heat as a seasonal feature and enjoying the changes of the seasons like in Japan? And also, can you understand this Japanese way of thinking? Well, let me know your thoughts in the comment box below. If you enjoyed learning about Japanese homes and culture, but don't forget to watch another video for more insight into life in Japan. Right, so thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. See you soon. Bye.